Alright, we are building a box at the new house. This is the first one I've built here. This is the back porch, which is now all I've got for a workspace. Anyway, bench is there, wood, one piece is there. Here we have the bottom and back of the box I've already cut up. So you can kind of see how big it's going to be. 6.8 cubic feet internal, and it's going to be a 6th order BandPass, which I've never built before once again. And going in it's for Jacob, who I built the 2 Sundown audio subs, that whole build in the Outlander, which has got a fair few views actually. So you've probably all seen that one. He's got bored of that for some reason, and now he wanted something different, so going in the same spot. The box is almost the same size, and now we have already, I have all the sides joined together. I've just tacked them in and glued. We'll be putting some screws in now, but we've got the basic box done. The bottom it's sitting on but not attached to yet, and from there now I can start building some ports. So there's the port marked, and the wood is there too as a guide. So what I use is, this is the new router bit I got, which has got a top mount bearing at the top. So the bearing runs across the wood and just cuts out exactly what's below it. Alright, so there we have our ports routed out, and then with a 1/2 inch round over I think I put on them. Still rough, that's all I've done is purely router. Been no sanding or anything along here or whatever. But you get the idea. 6 order, 2 ports, and that's the baffle for the middle, the double baffle. Obviously the ZV4 surround will be poking into here, and the port is going along and comes up about just a little bit up the back. So that's your bottom port. That's that port, and then you've got your back of the woofer. Same thing, port's going to go like that and come up to the back, and then so that's facing the back of the car. Alright, so just before I get a little too ahead of yous on the build, there's the port in there, which will sit like that-ish. You get the idea. It's not actually lined up, but you know, once I actually line it up you get the idea. That sits in there and comes out there, and if I can get it up, that's rounded over and that's rounded over, and then here, haven't done it yet, but on the inside, going from that corner just straight down, just do a 45, just like that, just so it's not like a block. So it's, that's it for that side, and obviously the sub's going to be cut out right here, just sitting right through here, and then on this side, that's part of the port wall. Everything's super tight fit. You get the idea. That's that side of the port wall, straight through there once it's actually in position, and then here's the rest of the port. So I've got him like that. That's my port wall, and then he sits. He sits on there like that, and then that bottom piece comes up, and then I've rounded over the top of this one. I've still got to sand that bit, and I've rounded over the bottom of that bit there. The box, that's the bottom of it. I put some just scrap on the top, and these are my 2 ports. So I went and body filled the screws in, so it's all smooth, and then I've sanded the entire things, both sides and everything, because a few of these bits were like off cuts. So the only bits that got to be painted really is this and this face, and then that face there. Everything else is the inside of the box. But anyway, so I'm just going to paint those black, just so we're not actually wrapping the box now, but in the future, if it sounds really good and we want to go ahead, we might wrap it, and at least I've already done the painting on the inside. Alright, just a coat of primer there, just letting that seep in so that the wood doesn't absorb all my black. And while I was waiting for that to dry, just went and made my wires for the inside of the box. So got my 8-gauge ring terminals and heat shrunk them. Alright, there's our box. Over there is my 2 ports, sitting over here in the sun, as you can see, painted black. That's 2 coats of primer, 2 coats of black. I think that's going to do them. Anyway, so here's the box. As you see, size wise, whatever, every piece is cut except for the plug for this, and I'll just show you now. Yeah, it's cut from the same piece of wood, so it's a perfect join. But that is chamber 1, and obviously this would be chamber 2. So chamber 1, once the baffle's in there, is going to be permanently fixtured, like permanently attached, glued, screwed, whatever. Chamber 2, on the other hand, which is this side's one, will be the one that can come off. So it'll have another baffle on the inside that's going to plug up once those middle ones are in there. I can't really make that until I've got it all made so I can get it perfect. And I'll do what I did last time. That's take it about 1 millimeter too small, run a bead of silicone around it, and so when it pushes on, it makes a tight seal. And then I'll drill holes, and it'll just screw down. Once the sub's in there, it's not like it's going to be open shut, but at least for that, if you need to get it out, it can come off. So that's my baffle. That is also the way the sub goes into the box. The rest of it all gets permanently put together. I've primed the inside plus primed now the outside of this. Ports are painted black completely. Now I've got to paint the inside black, fit the ports, and then, because I've got to screw those in, and then once I've screwed the ports in, because it's going to wreck up the paint a little more on the front again, then we can go ahead and paint this black over the front. So I'm just going to do this black stripe along the bottom of the front now, and later on, whether we paint it, or I'd like to plasti dip it, to be honest, something different, because carpeting is pretty boring, so maybe we'll plasti dip it one day or something. That's the 2 baffles. Hey look, my earthquake makes an appearance once again. I've still got these. If anyone wants to buy them though, I'm going to sell them. They're all 4 of them in original packaging. Anyway, okay, and there's our holes drilled, as you can see. I put a round over on it as well, just on the front of that. But that's a perfect cut out there. So 6.5mm holes drilled on the top here, and then I haven't actually drilled them through yet to the other baffle because I haven't attached them yet. But once I glue them together, then I'll drill them through and obviously mount my T-nuts on the other side. As you can see, the T-nuts are in it, and I'm just painting that bit there, which is the inside of the port. Alright, so it still looks the same kind of, but we have a port in there. I'll put the 45 in there as well. So as you can see, it nicely comes up and rounds over, and it goes in the port. Obviously that's where our sub's mounting. Surround sticking in here, and then on the inside, that's all. This is all attached now and screwed in. There is that dead space there, but I couldn't go the port any bigger. And if I made the port make it over to here more, then it would have had to been too long, because this gap here, because I've still got another piece of wood that'll sit about there, that gap there is the thickness of the port. So if I made the port any bigger, the port would have had to come back over here, making the box smaller, etc. Alright, so there you go. There it is there with a coat of resin now on the inside of it. As you can see, it's all set now actually. Just wrote that in there as well. So we now have every single screw hole has been body filled. It's just wet there because I just wiped it all down still. And just wiping all the dust off it because I've just got to paint this black stripe. So I'm just about to mask it up and give that a few coats of black. Here we go. So that's unmasked. That's 2 coats of primer, wet sanded, 2 coats of black, and 2 coats of clear. And I mean, as you can see in the reflection of it, it's pretty damn shiny. That's just spray paint. That came out pretty nice. You know what I mean? It's nothing ridiculously fantastic. I mean, it's still just MDF. But yeah, as you can see, that's pretty damn shiny. So that came out quite nice. Edge is pretty good, so pretty happy with that. Just gives it a different look, you know, plain MDF, but at least it's got that fully black. As you can see the ports, you can see the light shining through, but they're completely black on the inside. There's no, you don't look in there and see any MDF. Left side top's attached. Now I just want to show you a few little things that help what I did. So I did dots here, dots to line up, just so I don't fuck up top, bottom, etc. So I know that lines up perfectly. I did cut this out of 1 piece of wood, so I know that that cut's good. Now what I've got here underneath, if I can get it up, is my plug, as you can see, which sits inside like that. Now what I do is I measure the inside and I take a 5mm, so it was 64.5 centimeters, so I made it 64. I'd run a bead of silicone, black silicone, around the plug,
and then smooth it out on an angle like this, so that the silicone is going, if you're looking at it from this way, the silicone's like this, so it squeezes in and makes an actual seal. And there's the box finished. So that top baffle is on. I haven't actually put all the screws in it. I've only done just like kind of the middle screws, just for now. I'll put more in later when I really clamp it down. But it's working perfectly, the baffle. As you can see, it's about that middle gap, but I haven't put a screw in the sides yet to pull it right down. But as you can see, like there where I have put a screw, it's tight. A few spots where I haven't put screws, but once I put all the screws in, she'll pull it perfectly tight. But as you can see, it's all routed, even at the top, so it's all sanded as well. And there are these zinc plated bolts with 8 gauge on them. Obviously each coil, got the long ones on the top, I've got the short ones on the bottom. Really nice looking bolts there, which stick out. So that's bolts holding them in, and then I'm going to put a zinc plated washer there, and then the terminal on the back will go into here. There's a little joiner in the middle. So now we'll just wire positive and negative, and that's wiring us at 2 ohm. Alright, and there's the ZV4 mounted in the box, as we see. So I just got to wire it up and put the top on. And here's the build I did that got destroyed. Yeah, because he wanted to put that in there. Yeah. Alright, so there we go. Sub in the box, mounted, holding itself in mid-air, wired up. From day one, so I say fuck Cam footage is going to be great.